Former Pac-12 foes fight as members of their new conferences for the first time, and you know what? This has the feeling of something special early on. It's the number 4 Stanford Cardinal against a team that's just outside of the rankings, but a team that is hungry as ever in the UCLA Bruins. Welcome inside beautiful Maples Pavilion, everyone. My name is Austin Oda, joined alongside Alejandro Flores. Hey, really good tournament so far. The final in this one is the headliner, UCLA Stanford. Whew, it's chills. It's what it's all about. It's fun.
It's been building up to this. Both teams dominated in the tournament in both of their matches against Hawaii and Texas State. So it's been building to this moment right here. And you can tell the crowd's into it. The people are hyped. First matchup between UCLA and Stanford since the Pac-12 conference. This should be a fun one. And the biggest thing standing out, of course, too, is, UCLA on the edge, but Stanford is the ranked team here. They are the favorite. They are the dominant team this year, so they're the ones to beat. And it's going to be fun to see how UCLA tries to answer and tries to respond. I think it's going to come down to the defensive side, and not so much on the front end with the blocking, but how can they do in terms of the dig category and everything else? How well are they able to get many of those serves out? How are they able to keep possessions going and get clean, full offensive possessions?
But if you want to talk about the middles, I think that's going to be the matchup to watch. Paigran Kong is back for UCLA, missed a majority of this season as the transfer from Louisville. She's wearing 7 in blue in the bottom of your screen. And Lizzie Andrew for Stanford has been spectacular as well. Well, here we go. It's Spencer Etzler, the freshman, at the line of service to start in one of the biggest games of the year so far for either of these teams. On the far side, they'll go to Leverett, taking the first swing, and the Bruins score first early.
Well, Leverett, team leader in kills, already getting started early. She has 108 going into this one. Picks up a number right early, and that's the presence that she had. You saw the 2 defenders try to swarm to her in just the wrong angle off the defensive side.
So Leverett is one of the biggest names to watch, averaging almost 3.5 kills per set, and she's serving here for the Bruins. Leaving it short, it's dug out. Set up backside. At the first swing from Jordan Harvey is dug out on the other end. Now a swing from Urzua, the freshman, and she sends it to the floor off the block, and the Bruins take a 2-0 lead.
And that's what I was talking about. One thing that stands out for UCLA isn't just the height, but Schumacher right there, standing at 5'5". How is she able to dig out a lot of those kill attempts and keep the offense going for the Bruins?
So a 2-0 early lead for the Bruins. Urzua has been spectacular in this tournament. Had her first 20-kill match of her career, of her collegiate career, in the opener against Texas State there. Leverett leaves a serve short.
It's essential that both of these teams try to minimize mistakes, especially when you're going against very tough opponents. Now a dangerous Jordan Harvey with the serve.
Harvey springs it up, received out on the right boundary, and it's an ace! Air Jordan picks up her 7th, and we're tied at 2.
And that's the danger of Jordan. 72 kills on the year. Not to mention what she does in the categories of assists as well. Dangerous on the serve.
Schumacher digs it out on the serve. Kong gets her first swing against the Cardinal. Now this one's tipped over but kept alive on the other end, and Kong sends an overpass the other way. Stanford in rhythm. Andrew kept alive. Here's Urzua, cross court off the block, sent to the floor.
UCLA right now is taking advantage of the height that they possess on the front end. Fantastic passing all around. Perfect 1, 2, 3 connecting offense.
Bruins lead by 1. Lola Schumacher will serve. Palms it across, and it's poorly received. It's an ace for Schumacher. That's her 3rd of the year.
Schumacher not dominating in the service ace category, but really where she specializes in libero is in her defensive side. 99 digs on the air, just picked up her 100th right now early on in set 1. She can help on the offensive end, that's dangerous.
This one received better. Give and go, tapped over. Easy reception on the other end. Bump set, looking for Urzua again. She stays hot, but it's dug out on the other end. Here's a look for Elia Rubin, sent over by us.
And nice catch.
Thank you. Where do I even throw this?
This should be one of the people who comes by right there. But one thing that I love about Stanford is you can tell they're adjusting the way that they're trying to attempt these kills, especially with the height of UCLA that they possess on the front end. It's coming with a little bit more finesse, not so much speed there. How to get the right angle.
I wish my catch was on the screen. That's really what I was hoping for there.
We were looking for it on the replay.
Kong's first kill. Tiger and Kong coming up big early on.
The biggest thing that Kong brings as well is her veteran presence coming from Louisville. She competed in the NC2A Final Four for the 3rd consecutive season last year. So she has experience in some of the biggest games, so the nerves don't have as much of an effect for her.
Injured late in her career at Louisville, making her 2nd appearance for the Bruins. Andrew trying to tip it over. It's kept up. A bump set to the far side. Blashoff sent back into the back row. Urzua, a dink attempt, looking for that campfire zone, and it's a bump set over to Blashoff again, who's blocked back. Good long rally. Back set, tipped across. Kong receives. From the back row, Leverett blocked back by Andrew.
Lizzie Andrews, 6'5", standing by the net. That's just a hard defensive frame to get past, as you can see right there, covering the top of the net.
Cardinal have cut it back to 1. They'll bring in Coco Kirsch to serve. Four serving 5. Kirsch leaves it short.
Now even on service aces between both teams, so right now back even at 1, but that's one thing that we have to monitor between both sides is who's going to make the most unforced errors and the most mistakes. That's always going to be the difference maker when you're going against 2 top teams like this.
Saw that in the earlier match today, Texas State and Hawaii. A lot of combined service errors early on in that one. A back set, a swing falls to the carpet. Erica Sayer gets her first kill.
Bit of a miscommunication there. Urzua was kind of staying more to the middle. It looked like Schumacher definitely stepped up forward there on the defensive side. And just a great read overall there by Sayer.
Parks will serve. Good laser beam received in the back line. Back set, a swing. Kept alive by the card, but it falls past the diving Parks. Back past the back boundary.
Obvious miscommunication there. You would have liked to have seen, obviously the defensive specialist there, Etzler, was trying to go for it, but a miscommunication. The easier hit there would have been from Ruben. That could have kept the possession going. But it's early in set 1. Both teams really still trying to figure each other out.
Carly Hendrickson will serve. Gets it across, low reception and a bump set. Give and go. Back to Blashoff. Far corner, just a little wide.
Couple mistakes now here for Stanford. Service error, miscommunication error, and just that one a little too strong on the kill attempt. Obviously, though, looks like they're gonna review here for an attempted tip. Looks like this would be a big review early on. Again, it's good to use your reviews early on in the early sets as well, because this is a chance to kind of gain some momentum back here. You know, it makes the difference between 8-5 and makes it 7-6. That goes a long way in the entire set.
8-7 the score. Or excuse me, 8-5 the score.
8-5,
with a chance to make it 7-6 if this review goes the other way. Take a look. It's kind of cool. I've never seen the program monitor like this.
Yeah, just have it right there. We could basically do the review ourselves. Except I don't know if I trust myself to make the call. Remember, when you're trying to make a call here to review, is it enough to overturn the call that is already made on the floor? They have to have enough evidence to overturn it right now. I don't know if I'm seeing enough. That's the biggest thing. Whenever you're doing a review, it's not a 50-50 call, just what you see. It has to be enough clear evidence to overturn it. And the biggest thing you're obviously looking for is any fingers that get pushed back to any sort of degree. That ball, though, moving so quick, it's so hard to tell, even in slow motion.
Early on, good returns for UCLA's offense. 5 kills on 5 assists. And when they're efficient, that bodes well for them.
Yes, the biggest thing that I'm seeing right now is obviously Kong and Singletary both standing at 6'4" in the front side of the net, and they're really dominating. Their presence is felt, even though they don't have as many blocks as you would expect early on. It's the presence that really stands out for them. It's forcing Stanford's shots like this shot right here to force it to go more to the right and get a cross kill instead of just straight on.
Well, Stanford's hoping that that's the case, hoping that it did force the shot awry, because if not, that would of course be an attack error, and if it was the case, that would be a point for the Cardinal.
It looks like, from my view, that was probably the clearest view that we have seen so far. That was a great view on the back angle. I don't see enough to overturn it here. I expect it to stay as it is.
But the longer they take on it, the better Stanford probably feels.
Yes, they
they're
do.
seeing something that they're trying to confirm, but I think we have a call.
Or maybe the ref just likes the theatrics.
Yeah, so the call is not confirmed. Yeah. But it does stand, which means there wasn't enough evidence, like you mentioned.
Yes. Inconclusive. You know, that was a tough one. You'd have to really look, and those are the hard ones to call. I'm not a fan of so much calling those on tips sometimes, unless you really know how clear it is, because that's such a hard call to make and even see on review. The easiest ones are obviously, of course, if it's a line out.
Hendrickson will serve. 8-5, Bruins jumped out to an early lead. Another good serve that Blashoff has to go back to get. They'll give it back to her on the other end, and it's dug out on the other end by Urzua. Tipped over by Singletary. Now Stanford gets in rhythm. Blashoff, a swing off the fingertips. Good defense on the floor and at the net. Now here's another tip by Singletary. Touched once. Second touch goes back to Blashoff. She goes cross court. And watch this spectacular defense. A joust at the net is won and sent over. Both teams fighting, looking for momentum. UCLA's gonna get it.
What a fantastic rally from both sides there, but really the defense for Stanford just keeping it alive. But that's the thing, what I love about UCLA on that possession is they always kept the pressure on the Cardinal. The Cardinal always kind of had their foot back there. Never really got a clean offensive possession.
9-5. Nearly an ace, kept alive. They'll have to send a free ball back the other way. Good job by Stanford.
Now UCLA on the offense.
Leverett, another swing, punched up. Man, you're right. Stanford is just so out of rhythm. But Urzua misses long. That gives the Cardinal a break.
Big break right there because, yes, as you were mentioning, it just seemed like the Cardinal had their backs against the wall just a little bit, even offensively. A lot of their possessions were just having to be forced over on the third one. They never got a clear setup for a kill. So that's a big break for Stanford, but right now they need to start generating some clear offense. Just perfect 1, 2 to 3.
Julia Blashaw will serve. She's been terrific of late. You can see it there. The velocity given to Leverett. Off the block. Falls to the floor. It's Erica Sayer, the freshman, getting up with Jordan Harvey to send it down.
What a start to the year for the freshman. 87 kills on the year, standing at 6'2". Just a dominant force on the front end.
Blashaw again, this time just a little short. It hit off the bottom of the top tape and fell down.
For a Stanford team that always seems to be trying to work back here in this one, that's just an error that you don't like to see. You want to keep it in play, force UCLA to have to execute on their side.
It'll be Kate Duffy, the setter, to serve. She's been fantastic of late, averaging over 10 assists per set over her last 5.
Not to mention 10 service aces.
She'll send it across. It's another good one. Parks, back set. Look at Harvey get up. Air Jordan again.
That's the beautiful thing about Jordan Harvey. Standing at 6'1", she is not the tallest on the team, but you can see the airtime that she had there as she got up top and change of direction for that one. Great angle. Best possession for Stanford so far.
Good serve by Etzler, received by Urzua. Back on the far side. Left short.
First time in a while that Stanford's gotten 2 in a row here.
Back to a 1-point first set.
Like the idea by Singletary there, just not enough on it.
Etzler will serve again. Palms it near side. Set up. On a give and go. And a block. 3 straight for the Card. We're tied at 10.
Stanford caught rhythm here, especially on that defensive side now. They seem to be catching UCLA a little off balance.
Third block already for the Card. 2 by Jordan Harvey. It's an area she's really improved this year. Etzler again. To Urzua in the back line. Coffee with a bump set. Over back on the near side and a double touch.
Was it double touch?
Oh no.
Net violation. Woo! Because that was looking like a double touch for a split second by Harvey. This is a good timeout, though, for UCLA right now. They lost all the momentum that they just had. As you can see here on the replay, right by the net. They're looking for the violation.
So 11-10 the score, a 4-0 scoring run for the Cardinal. How about it? It's not that the offense has been there. For Stanford, it's been the defense. 6 digs, 3 blocks. I don't know if you could ask for anything more to start out on the defensive end. Now, how can they unlock that offense?
Well, that's what I'm loving right now, right? If you're Stanford in the huddle, you haven't had the greatest start offensively, but you're in the lead, right? You're picking up the game in many different aspects, especially on the defensive side. Now, how can you complement the offense? You have to have good communication. We saw a lot of possessions where it was 2 girls going for the same ball. A lot of miscommunications to where in the passing, they just had to kind of toss it over, a little soft toss, and just send it over. And no clean kill attempts. So they have to find a way here to have good ball control and find the right people to set it up to. The best possession that they had was when they went 1-2 to Jordan Harvey and let their ace just set it up with a fantastic kill. That's how they got to keep doing it.
Cardinal have taken the lead after falling behind 10-7. Neither team hitting particularly well. Stanford's defense has been tremendous. UCLA has won both of the longer rallies. Stanford has won the quicker possession battles. Didn't get a ton of a chance to intro the teams in this game, but again, Pygron Kong is a big get back for UCLA. Wearing 7 in blue, bottom of your screen. Sheridan Leverett has been great in her career. And Eliana Urzua, the freshman, has been tremendous of late as well. Spencer Etzler will serve, another one of the freshman stars of this Stanford team. Good serve, just creases the top tape. Duffy, back set, Kong to the floor.
Kong has made her impact early. That's now 3 players on UCLA with 2 kills. That's Leverett. We also have Kong and Eliana. So watch out for the Bruins. 3 key offensive players already making an impact early.
Leverett will serve. All even at 11. One of the veteran players on this team gets it into the back row. Parks set up in the middle, tipped back. Stanford's able to pop it alive. Not for long on UCLA's side. Stanford retakes the lead.
Great gather and recovery by that Stanford defense, and I like the idea to send it over to the other side to Ruben, and Ruben does a fantastic job switching it up just a little bit, going with a little bit more touch on that one rather than power and speed.
Sent over again. It's a good one. It's an ace. Jordan Harvey picks up her 2nd of the first set already.
That's one thing you love to see, Jordan Harvey impacting the games in other ways outside of just the kill category.
Nearly another ace. Coffey sends it over to Urzua. Wide past the back boundary. No touch in the Stanford front.
Yeah, despite the fact that one even attempted to try to touch it there, but a good idea to pull back just last second. And now Stanford with a 3-score lead.
Sent across, nearly another ace. It'll be tipped over. Parks, back set. Andrew. Another violation against UCLA. And it's 15-11. Stanford scored the last 4.
That's the 2nd time now UCLA has been called for that, and that's a big one here at this moment.
You can see that right arm of the middle blocker hit that top. Another good serve. Duffy sets it up. Urzua tried to dink it over. Andrew setting it up for Blashoff, trying to get it towards the middle. A bump set over to Kong. Block set up by the Cardinal. It goes right past the trees, and UCLA gets the side out.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Kong begins to mesh with this team. Thing is they just barely got her back. She's new to the team, so how is she going to continue to grow and mesh and blossom with this UCLA squad right now? Off to a good start.
Schumacher again. Lobs it across. Received. Andrew on the slide. Off the hand of Leverett. Near the back of the gym. Duffy's able to corral it. It'll be a free ball. Stanford trying to get in system on the far side. Ruben blocked back. Sent up again, Rubin finding some space. Duffy with another bump set. Another free ball. Andrew, second slide. She's got it.
Yeah, and that was UCLA's offense really putting their defense at a disadvantage there. A couple of soft hits, as you mentioned, free balls, and it just sets up Stanford's offense to continue to apply the pressure and force the issue.
16-12. Stanford leads by 4. Tossed across by Rubin, it's a good one. Duffy to Urzua, going back on it, left it short.
UCLA's offense has now struggled a couple possessions, been unable to get really clean shots here. As you can see, they're just having to work from behind just a little bit. That's a hard angle to do for Urzua.
UCLA subs in Sydney Breon, service specialist defensive player. She'll look to shore up that back line. Rubin again. Attacks Breon immediately, picks up the ace.
Interesting for Breon there. Almost looked like she had it and just lost control there. Off of the middle part, just banged off over to her left. Interesting looking play, but has a big impact. Now UCLA has just used all of their timeouts here in the first set.
Stanford has dominated late in this first set. UCLA took the first advantage. It's been all cards since. And like you mentioned, on that long rally, it was UCLA's defense that was kind of letting its offense up because there was a big block by Brooklyn Briscoe. She started to celebrate it late in that possession. As the possession was still going, it got the offense out of rhythm on the other end.
Well, it's worth mentioning as well, the biggest thing for Stanford is this big turnaround actually happened after the review. So it's a big thing worth mentioning too. The advantage that they have from the review is it was basically a free timeout. They had a chance to gather up, get together, start getting some fundamentals going and how they can adjust and then start playing this. And they learned very quickly to adjust to this UCLA team. Almost using the review as a timeout, very smart.
It's basically what you have to do at that point, and Stanford has just used that as a launching pad. Now the Card lead by 6, hitting 217, below their season average. But you talk about the defense, and I think you can see it in the opposing hitting percentage. Their opponents are hitting just 193 this year. That's unbelievable. And UCLA at 0-0 so far today.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning how Stanford has dominated in the kill category versus opponents, and not to mention as well errors, only 140 in the error category. When you're looking at UCLA, 169.
Elia Rubin with another good serve. Duffy trying to keep it alive. Sent back, kept alive on UCLA's side. Somehow they get a decent looking swing off of it. Parks sets it up. Blashov!
Right at the official, he was almost ready to make a response there, but yes, just a little too strong there on the kill attempt.
I actually thought on that one, I thought I saw fingertips. It's so hard to check in real time, which is why those are the calls that get overturned most often. But Stanford elects to not challenge. Kong will serve, Blashov receives over to her left. Back to Blashov off the set. This time, she creases the back right boundary.
Just barely too. Obviously UCLA, they could challenge that. That was on their side, but no challenge here from the coach. That was a very close one, just barely clipping the end there. And you love those pinpoint accurate hits.
Coco Kirsch will serve. UCLA doesn't have a timeout left. Trailing by 6, Stanford needing 6 to finish this one. Kirsch. Far side, top of your screen. Set back, it's a joust. Blashov tips it over. Urzua gets a swing. Stanford's defense can't keep it alive.
Yeah, Kyle Rubin off balance there on the back end. That was a fantastic kill attempt there from the freshman. And that's the danger she poses as well. Standing at 6'2", Urzua, 75 kills going into this one. What an impressive outing so far for the freshman. And she's versatile in all sorts of sports. She played beach volleyball, volleyball, and women's basketball as well throughout high school.
She'll serve here. Near the middle, Parks has it tipped back. Going the other way, it's Leverett that sends it over.
height advantage right there. Just great time, just great job there when you have the height advantage and you also time the jump perfectly like Leverett did there. Up sooner, up quicker. Able to send it down.
Urzua again. A little bit of a momentum killer there. Quick 2-0 UCLA run is stopped by the service error.
That's okay, you gotta shake that off if you're UCLA right now. Don't let it get into your head. It's a big moment right here. You wanna see if you can get momentum back before Stanford really starts getting close to a set point.
Parks matches.
That'll help. That'll help. And if you're on the Stanford side, you hate to do that right there. You just got momentum right back. UCLA made a mistake of their own, and you can't take advantage of it. You don't want to keep this team alive.
Still just a 4-point set. A lot to play here in the first. Hendrickson, a good serve. Parks over to Blashoff off the tops of the blockers. Duffy setting it up. Singletary sends it home.
Good timeout for Stanford.
Yeah.
Good timeout.
UCLA started to get a little momentum. They've scored 3 of the last 4. It's a 3-point first set. And all of a sudden, UCLA's starting to get in a rhythm offensively as well.
They're starting to believe again.
Right, starting to just pick up a little bit of steam on that offensive end. Pycron Kong has been great. 3 kills on 5 swings. And then Urzua Leverett carrying the load a little bit, but they've also started to cut down the errors as the set has continued.
Yeah, the biggest thing is for UCLA there is, you know, they did that run right there without Kong. That was with a lot of the younger people. Eliana Urzua was a big contributor to that as well. The freshman is the one with the most total attempts right now with 9 and 3 kills. So it's good to see these other players for the Bruins really stepping up here in this moment. And then at some point you imagine Kong is going to see some action here again in the first set, and that's where it can become very dangerous for the Cardinal.
Stanford leads by 3. The Cardinal 8-2 this season. You look at their losses, they're to the top 2 teams in the nation. To Nebraska and Texas. There hasn't been a bad loss on Stanford's resume this entire year. On the other end, UCLA starting to heat up as well in their own right. They've won their last 5.
You could see the home court advantage has a big factor here for Stanford. This crowd is pumped up, it's loud, and it makes sense too. Stanford 102-12 at the Pavilion, just absolutely dominant when it comes to home floor advantage. And you could tell it's all been leading to this. It's the biggest crowd that we've had all weekend long.
Another good serve. Blashoff off the give and go. A block falls to the floor on the side of the Brew, and it's 21-17.
Would have liked to have seen the Bruins just be a little bit closer to the net there in their block attempt. That doesn't allow their kill shot to seep right through. But a great job on the offensive end from Blashoff.
Blashoff again. To Urzua. Into the middle. Singletary. Missed wide.
UCLA was asking for a tip there, but they don't get the call. And here goes Blashoff again. Catching rhythm here on the serves.
22-17. Blashoff. Wide.
That was a very close call, and tough call to make there for UCLA in the last second to pull back there, but smart job. Holds the momentum, and here they go on the offensive side. It's going to be big to see how they can do with these serves, and it goes to Kate Duffy, again, team leader in service aces with 10.
Duffy, the setter, springs it over. Back left corner, received poorly. Parks gets it over to Jordan, and Jordan Harvey. A missile.
That's now 4 Cardinal with 2 kills in this first set. Just absolutely dominant across the whole entire floor. I think that's the biggest thing that stands out for this Cardinal team.
Etzler serving. Near side. Near us. Popped up. And a free ball, but it goes long, and it's set point here in the first.
And UCLA kind of running to the ball, having to play catch up there, sets up a rough offensive possession. And here it goes. The crowd is up and a chance to end the first set here with Etzler.
24-18. Set point in set one. Kong blocked back by Andrew.
What a turnaround for the Stanford Cardinal in that one, especially on the defensive end where it seemed like the Bruins were having so much success with their height, including Kong. They made their adjustments soundly, and Stanford ends up taking full control of that one in set one.
It's a 3-block first set from Lizzie Andrew to cap off a 25-18 first period. Cardinal dominate in set number one. Bruins looking to even it up on the other side. Stanford takes set number one, 25-18. 18. Wow, that's the second time today that we've started a set cold. I'm Austin Oda, he's Alejandro Flores. Hey, this one's all you, my friend.
All right, let's see if we can heat things up a little bit. Stanford definitely heated up there in set one. The Cardinal started off in an early deficit, but took over in the second half of set one and looked to continue to impose their will. Now, what's the biggest thing that you saw from the Cardinal in their turnaround that really helped them surge and run away with set one?
I mean, it started with the play at the line of service. Stanford had 3 service aces in the first set, and it just kept getting UCLA out of system. They were attacking the setter, attacking the back row, and that really helped just let them set up their defense and get UCLA's offense out of rhythm.
The biggest thing for the Stanford Cardinal, a lot of notable players worth mentioning. Lizzie Andrew as well as Jordan Harvey made some big impacts there for the Stanford Cardinal in set one. And the biggest thing that you mentioned at the end of set one were the blocks. And that, of course, by Lizzie Andrew and Jordan Harvey leading in those categories. 6 total blocks for the Stanford Cardinal. UCLA wasn't really able to register one.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. No blocks in the first set when you have 3 terrific blockers. Brooklyn Briscoe's been great. Pycron Kong is in. Mariana Singletary is tremendous.
And the height advantage that UCLA poses. But it's going to start with Kate Duffy. Cardinal, good response. Jordan Harvey slams it down. And Harvey takes the first one of set 2.
You see why they call her Air Jordan, right? Take another look. That's a full head and a half over the net.
And now it switches around. Spencer Etzler. The 1-2 serve. Great gather there by UCLA. Soft tapper there by Kong. Sets up again. Leverett getting it over. Great dig out there by the Cardinal. Jordan Harvey. 2 to start set 2.
She's incredible. That's just such good precision by Harvey. It was a great dig in the back to start it up, and then it was set up by Elia Rubin, an outside hitter that posed like a setter there, set it perfectly, and Jordan Harvey sent it home.
Fantastic dig out there by Pringle. And now a service ace. All the momentum for the Cardinal right now as Etzler picks up the ace.
And if you're Alfie Ref, you're going to have to call timeout soon.
3-0 to start set 2. Stanford Cardinal continuing to impose the will that they had in set 1, as that's a great response from the Bruins, setting up Leverett. Great fake out there as well. Singletary jumped up, did a nice little pump fake there to set up Leverett.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that was all the fake out of Singletary. You could see the defense right there start to shift in the middle. Just that little bit of hesitation from the middles allowed the second swing to go through.
And now Leverett will serve. Too strong there from Leverett. And a service error for UCLA. So a lot going wrong so far for the Bruins early in this one. And that will be Leverett subbing out. And now subbing in Maggie Lee. Another transfer student for this Bruins team, transfer from Cal Berkeley. As Harvey with the serve. He was the one who got the first initial response and getting it over Urzua. Now sent back across. Great dig out there by the Bruins. And Kong with the kill.
Take another look. Look at the dig. That's all Kate Duffy, and then Kong spins it home.
Kate Duffy with 52 digs going into this one. The big impact, and here's Schumacher. Another service error for the Bruins. Second one here in set 2.
Both teams have 4 service errors right now. The difference, Stanford's been able to make 4 service aces out of them. So it's an aggressive serving Stanford team. It's also just not a Stanford team that gives up service aces. They've only given up 20 now this season. That's incredible.
Leah Rubin sending it over. Team leader in kills on the season. Kong gets it through. The presence of Lizzie Andrew was there, but Kong too strong on that one.
Yeah, the block was set up maybe just a little too early. They were unable to get their fingertips on it, and then Kong was able to send it home.
Kong with the serve. And that's going to be out. Service error again. Third one for the Bruins.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that discrepancy between service errors and service aces that Stanford has allowed. They've only allowed 20 aces now this season. In comparison, 97 service errors, and that just screams a team that dominates the serve receive.
It goes to Coco Kirsch. Has 3 service aces on the year. Almost had one there. Great dig out though by the freshman. Orzua kept it alive. It's going to go to Orzua, and there she is on the defensive side. Stanford getting another chance. Setting it up and down. Julia Blashaw picks up another kill.
That's just done perfectly. There's nothing more that you can ask of Blashaw there. Did a good job to get over the first time, and then Blashaw scanned the defense before the play and was able to put it right where no one was.
Coco with the serve. Hits the top of the net, just barely sent back. And now a service error for the Cardinal.
Yeah, that's one where like an eighth of an inch higher and it hits the top tape and goes over the other way. It's an aggressive serve receive team. You're gonna give up those errors sometimes. It hasn't really bit the Cardinal today.
Eliana Orzua is going to be the one to serve now. She had 1 service error in set 1. Just barely over. Great offensive play there from Logan Parks.
That's
the height disadvantage.
Right. Look at this again. It's an overpass. Parks reads it the entire time. That ball is on the other side of the net, and Parks is able to get her fingertip on it and then bring it back quick enough to where she doesn't get the net violation.
Get it over 6'4" Brooklyn Briscoe. And Parks with the service error. So Stanford now sending some service errors to the Bruins' way.
Parks is allowed. I give her a pass on that one after the incredible play on the possession before.
She gets a freebie. Here comes the senior Carly Hendrickson. 11 service aces on the year. Goes up and down. The Stanford Cardinal with Erica Sayer. Great setup and great finish, and the Stanford Cardinal offense is in rhythm.
I just don't know what you're supposed to do with all these options that Stanford has. They're getting all of them in positions to attack. They're opening up the opposing defense, and then the trigger by their setter, Parks, is always the right one.
Goes to the Bruins and put down. Sheridan Leverett. She picks up another kill in set 2, puts her tied at the top with Kong at 5 kills each.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with that one either. Leverett gets all the way up and times it perfectly. Her swing is just the right timing to where the ball is coming down just enough, but it still has enough momentum.
Now the big 3 for the Bruins leading up in the front. Kong, Leverett, and Singletary. Goes to Harvey. Harvey! Fantastic adjustment midair and gets the kill.
Yeah, she can do it with the power. She can also do it with the finesse. Good dig, then the back set, then the finesse right on that 10-meter line.
Serving now is Spencer Etzler. And the 6th Cardinal lead. Leverett gets it over. Great dig there. And sent back. Denied by Singletary. See the Bruins bench too. Really excited about that one.
Look at the eyes of the front. I mean, they were just tracking that the entire time. They read it perfectly. That front line was in sync.
And now serving is Leverett. Great job there, and defense again. Kong there on the front end. And the Bruins defense beginning to stand strong now on that front side.
You mentioned wanting that block to be moved just a little closer to the net. We saw it there in the advantage.
Leverett with another serve. Gets it over. Pringle, the one who sets it up. Harvey gets it over, and another error for UCLA. We saw a lot of those in the first set. And now carrying over into set 2.
It's big. It stops the momentum. UCLA had gone on a little run.
Here comes Jordan Harvey, the junior. Has had a fantastic second set so far. 5 kills on 9 attempts. Over 50% in her hit percentage. That time she picks up a service error. First one for Harvey, 5th for the Cardinal. And it makes it 11-9. So 9 serving 11. Lola Schumacher is going to be the one to serve. And Schumacher, her first time in set 2, picked up a service error. They're going to rewrite it here. Just a soft tapper that time. Set up here for the Bruins. 1, 2, 3, and down. And a great job by Brooklyn Briscoe to finish that one. She picks up her 2nd kill.
Stanford was able to touch it a couple times on their side, but there was just too much velocity to really do anything with it. They set up the middle so quickly, and Briscoe was able to put it down.
Serve again by Schumacher. That one by Pringle. Goes and sent back. Brooklyn Briscoe and the freshman Urzua right there on the front side to get the stop.
That was done so beautifully. They read the slide by Andrew the whole way. Urzua knew it as soon as she sent it back. That team is hyped right now, and they've got all the momentum.
So the Bruins, with the momentum now, even it up at 11. Here we go again. Lizzie Andrew, this time she gets the job done. And the Cardinal take back the lead.
They needed that one. They kept feeding Andrew. She was their top attacker, even with Harvey and Rubin still on the floor. They know if they need efficiency, they go to Andrew, just trying to get to the well, and they do it maybe one too many times, but it works out for them.
Leah Rubin with the serve. It's going to Kong. Kong just barely hits the line. Absolute dead shot from Kong. And it's tied again.
I think no matter if you're a UCLA fan or a Stanford fan, just as a fan of college volleyball, you've got to be psyched that Pagran Kong is back playing. She's just such a force to watch on this UCLA team that has big aspirations this year, and she figures to be a huge part of it.
And now serving is Kat Lutz. Lutz too strong in her first serve, a service error for the Bruins. As you mentioned, again, that storyline of service errors versus service aces. It's the biggest thing right now that has prevented UCLA from taking the lead here in set 2.
Yeah, if you turn any of those around, UCLA has a lead.
Coco Kirsch is the one to serve. Barely getting it over the net, dug out there by Schumacher. Sent over by Briscoe. On the defensive side, Brooklyn with the fake. Urzua keeps it alive. Urzua, second time, can't get it again. Are they gonna go to her again? No, they're gonna go to the backside and lead. Here come the Cardinal now on their response. And Blashaw is the one to capitalize. Great defense from the Stanford Cardinal.
that backline defense is all set up by the consistently good play of the front. They're able to reset as many times as UCLA was blocked back in the front. It's just another time that Stanford's backline gets to get that reset, gets to get a little more energy, and then play the rest of the way in system.
Coco Curse. Again with the serve. Sending it over again is Blashov. That time too strong. Although it looks like the Cardinal are a little confused by that call. And they might want to go for a review, and yes, they will. Stanford is going to review the call on the floor there. So the second time now that Kevin Hambly has called for a review and a challenge.
I think that one is almost like, okay, what do we have to lose here? We're up in the sets 1-0. It would change this one from 14-13 to 15-12, which at this point in the set is just a huge advantage. All right, you get it. You don't get it overturned, and it's still a 1-point game in your favor.
As we're looking here as well as you guys.
Well, and that pretty clearly hits that white line also.
Yeah. And the people on the review board know what they're doing as well. And that is the quickest challenge I have ever seen. Right there. Successful challenge for the Stanford Cardinal. That now makes Hambly 1 for 2 in challenges so far. 15-13 the score. Or 15-12, my apologies, the score. As you should update it. Or is it 15-13? My apologies.
I don't even know, man. I'm with you.
I'm a little confused on that part, unless we read it wrong. There
No,
it
there
is.
we go,
It
there
just
we go.
updated right
Yeah,
now.
You're locked.
You know what? We're antsy. We want to see the updates already. We're trying to move through. But speaking about antsy, it seems like UCLA has been that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
The nerves have kind of got into them a little bit in set 2. A little bit of error on their side in terms of service errors, net violations. So how do they turn it around? How do they start playing that clean offensive game that we really saw at the beginning of set 1?
It's a little hard to say because Stanford's done such a good job up front, which, like I mentioned, sets up the back line to do damage back there as well, which in turn leads to some attack errors and some attack misses. But you look at the hitting of Sheridan Leverett and Eliana Urzua. Urzua this season, she's hitting 220. That's pretty solid. Leverett this season hitting over 200. The two of them averaging about 6 kills a set total. They're both hitting at triple zeros. They both had as many errors as they do kills today, and they've got to clean that up, which means maybe you go away from the middles on the attack for a little bit so that the other blockers don't have a chance. Maybe you integrate the back line in a little bit more on the attack so that you have to get the opponent's back line in a little more as well.
Yeah, the biggest thing are the mistakes right now for the Bruins. And as you mentioned, yes, Leverett and Urzua right now leading in the error category. Now, Eliana Urzua is going to have her mistakes as a freshman. She's continuing to learn and continuing to progress, but she has grown so much already this season. And for Sheridan Leverett, the senior veteran, it's time for the team leader in kills to kick it up a notch. Watch out for her, though. At any moment, Leverett can turn it up. With the service, Coco Kirsch. And Lee is the one to get the response and sent down. And Brooklyn Briscoe has made a name for herself here in set 2.
She's just really good. It's kind of easy to lose her in the shuffle with so many veterans on this team. Mariana Singletary's been great, and of course bringing back Paigran Kong. But Brooklyn Briscoe's been really, really good this year. 10 blocks in this tournament already, and now she's doing it on the offensive end as well.
Worth mentioning, subbing in now is Leverett, so a dangerous player for the Bruins in. That serve there was from Urzua. Soft tap over by Blashov. Leverett! And that's the intensity that we were looking for the Bruins. My goodness, that might have left a dent on the floor.
Yeah. The floor might need a hug. That one was bad.
I saw your eyes. You were still stuck on the floor there just a little bit. It looked like it just zoomed right past you. Here it is again. Urzua with the serve. Just a soft tap over by Blashov. Looks like Leverett might set up again. This time it's Urzua, and that one hitting off of Etzler.
Well, you could see Etzler's face the entire time. As she read it, she was like, I got this. And as soon as it hit off her hands, she was like, shoot. Maybe I could have done a little more on that one.
That was just tough positioning there. And a great job by Urzua to take advantage. Another serve. Ooh, Leverett tried to get a quick kill there, sent back and denied. Shout out to Logan Parks. Parks now setting it up. And sent down by Sayer. What a possession there from Logan Parks. She picks up the block and then picks up the assist as well.
Yeah, if there are any lip readers, I might be able to join the club. Erica Sayer said, great block after that play. Right there, you can see it. And that's all it was. Parks did a great job to get up and send it back and reset the play for the Cardinal.
Here come the Bruins trying to respond. Brooklyn Briscoe, great job there to keep it alive by Rubin. Sent over by Harvey. Schumacher keeps it alive. Leverett sent over again by Schumacher, and the continued presence of Harvey helps the Cardinal.
What a match it's been for Jordan Harvey. Feels like she's everywhere right now. She's coming off one of her more efficient matches this year. She's continuing that efficiency, and all of a sudden, Stanford has controlled this one. They lead by 2.
Heard a let's go there from Harvey, and I have to say as well, I am fluent in lip reading. I might as well call that my second language. But right now, the Stanford Cardinal, I can imagine the only thing that they're saying right now are only good things here, leading 17-15 here in set 2. And a big set right here for the Cardinal. If they win this one, they take a commanding 2-0 lead here at home. And you feel at that point that the momentum is just fully on their side.
Yeah, I think there are some people that forget how big of a rivalry this is, especially in the volleyball landscape, with what UCLA did in the late 2010s and the early 2020s. And obviously the last couple years have been a little bit down for them, but it's still, like, this is a UCLA team that does not, there's no love lost between these two teams when they play each other. And Stanford now, as a top 5 team, needs to prove that it should stay as a top 5 team. And you do that by dominating teams in that bottom part of the top 20 range. That's exactly where UCLA is.
Right now, the flex cam is going on here in the arena, and flexing the power is Jordan Harvey. Right now in set 2, she has really taken command of the lead here in the kill category. 7 kills leading the team. 7 for 11. Hit percentage above 60%. Followed by Julia Blashaw right behind her with 5 kills on 14 attempts.
Logan Parks has been great too. 16 assists, and we mentioned that block that's not going to show up in the stat sheet because it didn't finish the possession. But that block set up an entire play for the Cardinal.
Big shout out to Logan Parks as well. Yes, she did not start in this one, but since coming in, done a fantastic job. Logan Parks was not in at the beginning of set 2, but came in and has now made a huge impact. The freshman doing a fantastic job. Also worth mentioning, Parks, a team leader in assists this year. And she picked up another one. Leverett, too strong there. Sheridan Leverett has picked up the intensity here in the late half of the second set. What a job from the Bruins. They have continued to stay on pace with the Cardinal, not let this one slip away from them. And now serving is Carly Hendrickson. She's looking for her first service ace of this one. It's up, it's over, and it's out. Erica Sayer was the one to send it up and out. And the Bruins tied it up, 17 apiece.
Nice little run by the Bruins, but it's off of the Stanford errors. And you got to think that they have to take advantage when they can and continue this momentum.
Hendrickson. There on the response. Blashaw is getting it over. Really strong, but a great response by Rubin. Cardinal have a clean possession here. They just do a free pass over. And a soft toss. Great read on the defense from Kate Duffy. And the Bruins with their first lead in the second set.
She had her back to the net that entire possession, and that gave the illusion that she wasn't paying attention. But good setters always know. And you can see that quick turn of the head at the last second as she flicked it right in front of the libero. Beautifully done by Duffy.
And we were just talking about how UCLA has to turn up the intensity a little bit. shore up those mistakes, and they now lead 18-17. And talk about someone who's really starting to step up here. 7 kills now for Sheridan Leverett, and we haven't even mentioned Kong. Kong has not seen some action so far here in the second half of set 2.
Yeah, we talked about Leverett at the last break about someone that needed to start stepping it up a little, become a little more efficient on the attack. And that's exactly what she's done. Since that last time we checked in with her, 2 kills without an error. And it just feels like every swing, even if it isn't resulting in a kill, is setting up the offense and the defense for the next possession. Because it's with so much velocity that it has to be popped in the air by whoever receives it. And that sets up the defense. That allows them to get back into their shape, get back into their positioning, and really restart the defense on the floor.
Now, it's worth mentioning for the Cardinal, they have really struggled in the block category here in the second set. They've kind of been stuck stagnant. As you mentioned, so many blocks in that first set. That defense is really starting to dominate. And now their backs are a little against the wall here, as UCLA has picked up the intensity on the offensive side.
We haven't seen a 5-setter so far this weekend. It's been pretty dominant for UCLA and Stanford in their matchups. Earlier today, we saw Texas State, Hawaii, and Texas State took that one in 4. Stanford wants to continue that trend of only dominance and sweep the Bruins.
It's worth mentioning both of these teams have swept their opponents in this Stanford tournament. Both teams sweeping Hawaii and Texas State 3-0. With the serve is Carly Hendrickson. On the response is Blashov. Harvey. Great job to keep it alive is Lutz. And a soft tapper keeping it alive, diving for it. Blashov was the one to keep it alive and set down and out. Too strong there for Singletary, and what a job from the Cardinal.
It's like whack-a-mole on the floor for the Cardinal. Bodies all over that pop back up as soon as you knock them down.
I consider myself a pretty good whack-a-mole player back when I went to the arcade now and then.
I was okay.
Just all right?
Yeah, just all right. Not my game of choice.
Enough to get at least 5 tickets.
Sure.
Here's Hannah Pringle. What a job by Leverett. Just a little too strong there, it looks like, for any response. And Leverett has really started to find her groove here.
Yeah, absolutely. She's feeling it. The sets are perfect to her. Now they bring in Pygron Kong again. And this front is vicious right now for the Bruins.
Duffy with the serve. On the response is Pringle. Goes to Harvey, and Harvey answers in suit, evening it up at 19.
This is a little fun 1v1 we've got going on right now between Harvey and Leverett. Both of them, it's anything you can do, I can do better, and usually that means ripping it with the right arm.
Etzler with the serve. Urzua was the one. Leverett sends it over. Sent back. Attempt there by Rubin. Rubin again. Denied again. Marina Singletary there on the front side. 6'4", standing tall by the net.
She's tremendous. She led Texas in blocks last year, transfers to UCLA, and immediate impact. I mean, look at them get up. How do you get one past Kong and Singletary together in the middle?
Sheridan Leverett with the serve. Bruins having the lead now, entering the 20s here in set 2. Harvey. It tips over. It's a setup for Kong, and Kong, a strong one, but a great response by Etzler to keep it alive. Rubin getting it over. Another setup, another Kong kill. An anomaly. No one quite like her. 21-19, the Bruins have the lead, and a timeout for the Cardinal.
Again, what are you supposed to do with that? Take another look. Duffy on the back set. Kong goes cross court. You can see the spin on the ball. It's like a slider in baseball. And she leaves just enough room to where if it's not dove for, it's a kill. If it is dove for, it just hits off the fingertips. There's nothing you can do with that.
Beckett and Krong looking like the 8th wonder of the world right now. She helps UCLA get a more of a commanding lead here at 21-19. And they're just 4 away from winning set 2. But what are the Cardinals discussing right now here? Down by 2, they're still in it. And they still obviously want a chance to capitalize and win set 2 and give themselves a commanding 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I think at some point it starts with bringing back the middles a little bit more. Lizzie Andrew has been less of a feature player here in the second set. You can also bring back Erica Sayers. You've got 2 quality middles that can match with Mariana Singletary and Tigran Kong. But you got to get something going on the block because right now, Logan Parks can only do so much as a blocker.
And the Cardinals get ready. They're back on the floor, ready to go. UCLA taking their time in the huddle. It's a song that could get anyone moving, the YMCA. It's got me shaking my head a little bit here too.
Yeah,
going with the music.
really good playlist today at Maples.
Oh, shout out to the DJ. He had good groove in here when we were doing our pregame. So UCLA with command, and it's gonna go to Sheridan Leverett. Stanford Cardinal with their main starters in on the floor as well. And speaking of that, it's gonna go to Harvey. Harvey sent back and denied. Picking up momentum here is Singletary on the defensive side. Another block for her. Make that 4.
Yeah, there's that middle presence again. Off the swing by Harvey, it's sent back the other way.
22 serving 19. Too strong. Good call there by the Cardinal to hold back on that one. And another service there for UCLA. They've already racked up a couple here in this set 2. Worth noting as well, Stanford out of timeouts. UCLA still with 1.
Now see if Stanford can go on a run with Harvey at the line of service.
Harvey with the serve. That one was a liner straight through. Urzua, too strong. A key mistake for the Bruins twice in a row. And just like that, as you mentioned, Stanford here gaining some momentum here at the end of set 2. Down 1.
And UCLA is going to challenge to see if that ball was tipped. Again, that's one of those calls that's so hard to make right the first time. UCLA's got it. This is the set, I feel like, right here, right? If it goes the other way, it's 23-20.
Well, yes, and it makes the big difference, too, of this is a set you can't lose. They have to treat this like
Right.
this is, this is a must-win right here. Down 2. You don't want to be down 2-0 and having to work back. So, good call from Alfred Reft here. Saved his challenge to the end. This is his first challenge of the match in general. And again, these are the hard challenges to see here. They have to see any movement from the hand or fingers that would be enough to overturn a call. Now, I think the biggest angle that we might be looking for here at some point is maybe if they start switching to the back angle. That's what we saw the clearest view for UCLA.
To me, it looks like as the ball crosses the fingertips, it's low enough to where a finger would have to move for there to be any touch. And if you look right, well, I like that I'm saying right, like I know what it's
Like you're moving it.
Right there, what they're looking for is that finger movement. And I think the ball is low enough to where if it did hit a finger, you'd see a finger move.
An overturn. A fantastic challenge for the Bruins. Stops the Cardinal dead in their tracks, and now 23-20. A big turnaround. 1-for-1 is Coach Reft. UCLA still with their 1 timeout. 1 away from set points. And Lola Schumacher is going to be the one to serve. A safe serve for Schumacher. Bruins on their response. Urzua got it. Set point. Great job by Urzua there. She gets it off of the tip, and the freshman with an emphatic scream and a chance to end it. Here come the Bruins. Lola Schumacher. Great serve, almost died off there at the end. Off of the net, and the Cardinals stay alive.
Yeah, I thought the net violation was going to go against Stanford, but it looks like UCLA might have gotten it first. It was a joust that Briscoe got up for, and yeah, she definitely hit that top tape.
Yeah, Brooklyn Briscoe got the top end of the net there. So with the serve, that was Rubin. Bruins, Urzua, off of the tip, and the Bruins have tied this thing up. 2 sets. And it's even at 1 apiece.
What a second set. Stanford was up for a good amount of it, and then UCLA just went on a tear late in that second set to even it up. But no one thought UCLA was going to go down quietly, especially with the addition of Paigran Kong, who was a little quieter in the second set, but just the ability to know that she was on the floor, opened up Leverett, opened up Urzua, and Briscoe has been tremendous as well. We've got a game.
UCLA keeps this within striking distance, leaving it up at 1 set each as we now advance to set number 3. Welcome back to set 3. The Stanford Cardinal and the Bruins tied at after 2 sets at 1 set apiece. And now we switch it over. You want to take the reins and run away with this?
I would love to. It's a good one. We knew coming into the weekend that this was going to be the headliner, right? You saved the best for last. Students getting here this weekend, they're filing in. There was a giveaway at today's match of Stanford volleyball shirts. There was a good line out there. And the fans that are here are being treated to a really, really fun first 2 sets.
Well, the fans going crazy. But UCLA did a good job. They quieted the crowd there in set 2 and really took command. They didn't hold the lead until 17-16. Unbelievable turnaround for the Bruins. And they're feeling it.
They're definitely feeling it. This is a big one for them. UCLA has struggled overall this year. They lost 3 in a row, Pepperdine and then 2 to TCU. But they've won their last 5, have dropped only 1 set in that stretch. It was to Texas State in the second set of that game on Friday. Outside of that, they've won everything. Stanford, on the other hand, has won 13 straight sets. Etzler will serve to start set number 3, and it's received by UCLA. Setting it up in the middle, punched up by Harvey on the far side. And attacked by Rubin, sliding, dig by Schumacher. Now in the middle again, scooped over. Set up, back for Rubin, looking to start the 3rd set hot, and it's off the block and out of bounds.
Just a little too hot to start the first set there. A little bit too much intensity. Or is that going to say off of the tip, though? So it is off of the tip. My apologies there. Great job, though, by Rubin. With the speed there.
So Stanford leads first here in the 3rd set. Duffy sets it up to Kong. Far side leaves it short. 2-0 Card.
I have seen that exact same play happen now twice, where Kong is kind of moving off to her right, off balance, having to send it across. And that's twice now it has hit directly to the net.
You gotta think maybe that's just, alright, she hasn't played in a live game in 9+ months. It's gonna be a little tough, but the looks are there. Leverett, wide.
Also just not the position that the Bruins want to be in right now. Kind of off balance with a lot of their hits, putting them at tough angles and having to try to be as precise as possible. You want to give yourself a higher margin for error than that.
Etzler's done a great job serving for the Card. She sends it across. Leverett receives. Duffy bump set, tipped over by Leverett. Redwell on the other end. A bump set on a give and go. Back to Rubin, attacking the back line. It's off the fingertips of the block of Singletary. It falls to the back of the gym.
Second time now that the speed of Rubin off of her kill attempts have taken advantage of the tip. That one just going straight off of Kong and sent back.
Stanford's opened with 4 straight to start this 3rd set. After UCLA even set number 2 by a score of 25-21.
Great adjustments here from the Cardinal.
Etzler again. To the back line, an overpass. Watch Stanford in system. Parks sets it in the middle. The Cardinal answer again with 5 straight. This time it's Erica Sayre.
And an early timeout and a smart timeout by Coach Ref there. If you recall, the Stanford Cardinal got off to a quick start as well in the set 2, where they got up to a 3-0 lead. UCLA was able to answer, of course, and kind of keep things within striking distance. But this time it is really ballooned to 5-0. And that's a hard deficit to come back from early. So the coaches right now having their own discussion.
Yeah, I think I said in that second set when it was 3-0, I said Alfie Reft is going to have to call timeout. He didn't, and his team rewarded that confidence in him by coming back and scoring in that one and ending up winning that second set. Here it's 5-0. That's about the point where it's a little too late to not call a timeout.
A little too late, but Stanford, what a great job on their adjustments, especially with the aggression this time around. It seemed like at the end of set 2, they were just kind of pushed back, backs against the wall.
And Stanford has continued here in set number 4 with its efficient offense. The Cardinals have 26 kills today. They've assisted on 25 of them. And to me, that means that they're in rhythm because Logan Parks has 18 of those assists. But also, there's so much trust in when Parks is the one that receives the first touch. Someone else on the second touch is going to pass it well.
And this has woken up the Cardinal crowd, and that's the biggest thing. Can they get the pavilion going, start using that home floor advantage? Look out here for the Cardinals. Spencer Etzler is the one that serves.
Still early in the third set, but the Card have scored 5 straight. Maggie Lee in. Want to be at the bottom of your screen.
Want to see if you can get Urzua going for UCLA. She was a big factor there at the tail end for the Bruins.
Etzler across, attacking Urzua to the far side. Kong off the slide, off the block to the floor. 6-0 Card.
Kong again with that off-balance hit just kind of puts her at a disadvantage. You want to see Kong go a little bit more center with her attacks. Line it up a little bit, see if she can use that height advantage and really hit it at the point.
6-0 Cardinal run. Etzler with an ace! Make it 7!
Miscommunication there from Lee and Urzua, both diving for it, not really knowing who was going to go for that one.
It's Etzler again on a 7-0 run for the Cardinal. Lee receives. Back in the middle, Singletary. Creases the back line, and finally UCLA on the board.
Just see something on the board. That's all you're asking for if you're the Bruins. Finally get the breakthrough that they were looking for.
7-1, and Maggie Lee will take the first serves of the third set for UCLA. Lee's got 3 aces, 10 errors this year. She's not had the season she's wanted after transferring from Cal. A big chance against her former rival, and she sends it long.
Lee was a great addition to this team. Really dominant. Second in the ACC in kills last year with 463 and kills percent by third most at 4.06. You want to see her get a little bit more action on the offensive side for the Bruins.
Good serve by Harvey. Urzua in the middle. Singletary back left boundary.
2 in a row for UCLA. Don't blink yet. Here come the Bruins.
Look at the placement on that one. Harvey had nothing she could do with it. She let it go, trying to hope that it was going long. And Singletary is able to dot her I's, cross her T's. Parks. A blast from Sayre.
That's just a tough one right there. Tough response for Schumacher.
Nine 9-2, Stanford leads. Rubin to serve, just a little wide.
So UCLA has rallied back here a little bit, but you want to see a stronger rally here, and I'd love to see a little bit more on the serving end here from Kong. See what kind of effect she can have on the game.
Good serve there, was aiming for that back right corner. Blasov! Just a little wide.
Just a little wide, and now a couple mistakes from the Cardinal. That's exactly what the Bruins needed. See if they can put Stanford in a position where they have to play clean ball. And just like that, Stanford with a couple mistakes.
Hard lead it by 5 still. It was once 7. Set up from the back row. Whoa! Here's Parks on the slide. Sayer with the finish.
Great effort, but to no avail right there. My goodness, a great job by UCLA just to keep it alive as they're diving for it. But again, because of the fact that they had to dive for it and really get off balance there, it set up a perfect Cardinal offensive possession. Out of position, Cardinal had time to set up their perfect 1-2-3.
Coco Kirsch. Good serve, tough towards the back line. Far side. Far side set. Blasov, diving dig by Kirsch. Back to Blasov, a joust at the net. Blashov's able to send it back. Can anyone send it over? Finally, they do. Now here's Parks, a back set. Going to Andrew, 2 middles, 2 points. And Lizzie Andrew with a laser beam.
An absolute meteor strike from her. Just right down, punishes her. And that's just a hard adjustment to make if you're Lutz right there.
Xana Meyer will check in, the Long Beach State transfer. Big part of the experience that UCLA brought in this year. First to serve. Uh-oh,
Just
overpass.
A little too strong on that one.
And you don't want to leave Blasov that open.
As you mentioned, that overpass right there, that response, too strong there, and it sets up, you said it immediately, because that just set up a perfect Cardinal offensive possession. And here it is, you know, UCLA, yeah, you were able to put a couple on the board, but Stanford has continued to assert their dominance.
12-4, Card on another 3-0 scoring run. They opened on a 7-0 run. They're closed so far on a 3-0 run. 12-4, they're just dominating, right?
They're just dominating. This is a Stanford team who you could tell took it very personal that they lost that second set. They were very upset at the way that they played, the way that they gave up the lead that they had, and this is it right here. They want to retake command of this one.
Jordan Harvey, 8 kills, 6 digs, 2 blocks. She's been tremendous. It just doesn't feel like UCLA has any answers on the defensive end. And I do think part of that is you rotate in a new middle blocker, everything changes a little bit. And I think they just look a little out of whack defensively.
They do, and I mean, it's hard when you have Blasov and you have Harvey and you have Sayer. But the thing is, too, is the Bruins are not without talent as well. They actually have the height advantage when it comes to that front end. But again, they haven't really got any rhythm with Kong. Kong has had a lot of off-balance kill attempts here in this 4th set. So UCLA, the biggest thing that they want to do right now is see if they can get a perfect 1-2-3 and a center fire from their kill attempt. They want to see if they can use that height advantage.
Coco will serve. After the timeout, got the last of the 3rd set from UCLA.
I think that's just a really cool name, is it not? Coco Kirsch?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Just rolls off the tongue.
It's like Coco Crisp.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Good serve from Kirsch, setting it up on the front side. And Urzua finishes.
Yeah, they're going to rely on Urzua a lot. Second on the team in total attempts. And now tied for most kills today with 8. The freshman has made a big impact so far, and here she goes with the serve. She's got on a really hot streak in the second set serving.
Urzua to Blasov. Back set. Andrew spins it off the block, and it falls to the carpet on the side of the Bruins. Stanford gets back. Lucky number 13.
That's a big thing that's happened as well. You know, we're talking about what has worked for the Cardinal. Well, they're doing a great job at those tips. You know, those block attempts for the Bruins just keep bouncing on their side, keep bouncing out. They're not having great response to the kill shots from the Cardinal. That one, though, straight to the net.
Still, UCLA trails by 7. A long way to go.
It's a long road back. Again, if they're to come back in this one, comebacks like this, to this degree, don't usually happen. It would have to be something incredible that we're seeing where they just absolutely turn things around.
Good serve, received poorly. Bump set, Blashoff, near side. Andrew, dug out of bounds. Andrew finishes perfectly, 14-6.
As I was talking about, those digs, those responses by UCLA, just either a little too strong, either going out or tip out, man. It's trying to see if they can find some rhythm here. That defensive side for UCLA is what's really struggling right now, especially on the positioning battle. You don't want to put Schumacher in that position.
Through 20 serves, Card lead 14-6. Pringle gets it across. Lee, her first swing, kept alive by the libero of the Cardinal. Now from the front row, Rubin tries to tip it over. Wanted the call on a tip, didn't get it, and she wants Kevin Hambley to challenge.
That was an acrobatic move by Lutz too to move out the way, but of course, yes, he will challenge the call by Hambley. And this is now the third challenge from Hambley. He has made 2 challenges in set 1 and 2. And now here he is in set 3, making another one. This again, a forward tip. And that tip would probably have to happen right here at the net. Again, when you have the height of UCLA, this is where it becomes very dangerous. You become susceptible to these tips. That one right there, it looks like...
Yeah, that looks to me like there's a tip.
Looks like it's off with the right hand there.
Because to me, you can kind of see the ball change course as well, change spin.
That yes, as you mentioned, that was just not the direction where she was intending for the ball to go when it takes a spin like that directly out of bounds. But the biggest thing is right there. You can see it off of the hand. And obviously UCLA won't admit that. And
there we go. So Stanford, the rich get richer here in the third set.
Yeah, did they need the call? Maybe not, but it always helps.
But who knows? We would have said that at some point in set 2 when Stanford was up big early.
Yes.
We would have said that last game when Hawaii needed a 9-0 run to finish out one of their sets. And right now, Stanford's lead is 9.
UCLA is going to need another run to that degree. There it is again.
That's not going to help.
No. Singletary, she did the same exact move that we saw Kong do when she's working on balance. And obviously that's by design. They like to do that so it gives them a little bit of an angle, but they're just getting low on these kill shots. And Stanford's doing a good job with their height on the front end, especially Lizzie Andrew.
Card lead by 10. Good serve received poorly. Trying to set it over is Meyer. I love the look. She's trying to get some offensive momentum, and she just left it a little short.
Just moving a little too quick, and that's where the pressure can get to you, especially when you're down. You feel the pressure to answer super quick. We have to get it now. We have to apply the pressure. We have to take it back. That one there just moving a little too quick. You got to slow things down on your end. Play your game.
And that'll help the Bruins. On the service error, brings it back to a 10-point set. Stanford still dominating. Again, no timeouts left for UCLA.
It's now or never. It's going to all hinge on these players. Now remember, at some point, they still can use a timeout in the form of a challenge if they want to at any point. So there's still one more stoppage that they can enforce. But slow the game down if you're the Bruins.
Meyer will serve. Springs it across, back row. Rubin from the middle. Andrew kept alive in the back line. Set up near side. Maggie Lee gets a swing off the fingertips of the Stanford block. Back set. Harvey, cross court, finishes.
Yeah, Stanford's just dominating on the front end. They're getting the height advantage. They're timing up their jumps perfectly. And what they're doing is they're getting the velocity, but the arc as well. You saw that one just kind of came down. It got over the front line first and then just shoots down, almost like a curveball that you see in baseball. Unbelievable hit.
18-7 Card lead is 11. Near side attacking lead. Meyer trying to set it in the middle. A little bit of a miss hit by Singletary. Set up near side. Air Jordan again, popped up by Schumacher. A bump set. This time Lee tries to dink it over. Sliding dig by Parks. Looking for Rubin. Spins it off the fingertips of a blocker.
Need a quality hit here.
Kong delivers.
Yeah, the Bruins struggled their first 2 possessions of that rally. Just soft taps over, not really getting the shots that they wanted. That was the one right there. You have to line up Kong And that's where Kong has the advantage. She squares it up perfectly. She's just taller than everyone. Not only does she have the height, but she has the length as well with her arms. She just gets up top. No one can reach that.
Cardinal lead is 10. Bruins want to get this one, you think, within around 5 to really start believing. Lee nearly an ace. Harvey's able to send it close to the net. It's a joust. Somehow Stanford gets the point. Erica Sayer won the joust and sent it back. And everything is coming up, Card.
I have to say, Sayer has done a fantastic job here in this third set. She's now at 7 kills on 11 total attempts, above 50%. But she's done a great job on the defensive side as well.
Might be an ace, you bet! Jordan Harvey has got her third of the match. It's one of the things she's best at. 57 career aces for Jordan Harvey.
Well, when you look at her stat line, she affects every part of the game. Service aces, digs, kills, assists. And there it is again.
Back to back from Air Jordan.
So that's why she's such a versatile and dangerous player. Not only is she so dangerous on the offensive side in terms of kills, but she can also help with the assist category. She can dig it out defensively, and then of course she can dominate in the serve category.
Set up far side, Kong. Good job by the Stanford defense. The offense answers back. Elia Rubin picks up another one for the Card.
Yeah, the energy is just down right now for the Bruins, and you can kind of tell, I can see what Reft is doing. He's kind of letting some of his other star players get some rest here. You can tell you haven't heard Ozua in a while, you haven't heard Leverett. They're not in right now.
Almost another ace, an overpass, kept alive. Schumacher sets it to Kong, far side, goes over the block. Parks looking for Rubin, trying to go back to back, not yet. Set up near side, Hendrickson gets a swing that's popped over. Hendrickson tips it over the net, it's tipped back to the Bruins side. Now set up, Hendrickson slides back, can't finish.
Again, what have I mentioned this entire set? The angles, they're kind of off balance. They're hitting the ball low. A lot of their hits are going flat. They're just not getting the height that they want on a lot of these hits. All these angles are coming flat and low. And that's the biggest thing that the Bruins, I imagine, are going to try to look to adjust when it goes to set 4.
Harvey, a little more touch this time. Just into the game. Overpass.
This is the first time they have an advantage.
By the Bruins. You're right, the advantage. Stanford is still able to keep it alive. Can they get a good look? They can. They finish. Logan Parks, are you kidding me?
Unbelievable, because yes, that was the first time that it looked like UCLA finally had their foot on the gas and control of the rally, but then just like that, they lose it so quickly. Stanford has figured it out here in set 3 and a chance to end it before UCLA even gets to double digits.
Here's Jordan Harvey. Schumacher goes back on it. Duffy sets it up. Schumacher off the block to the floor. Can you write it any more perfectly? 25-8. The Card end on a 7-0 run, the set of the season for the Cardinal.
What a statement from Stanford right now. Unbelievable job. Absolutely. Coming off of the loss in set 2, looked like UCLA quieted the crowd. They came out and completely dominated. That was, again, as you mentioned, that was their set of the year. Perfect play throughout. They did a great job on the offensive side, holding control of the rallies, but even when they were caught off balance, they managed to recover. They did a great job defensively. It was unbelievable to watch.
Perfect in set number 3 for the Card to jump back in the set advantage. 25-8 the final. The Cardinal hit 591. Just one attack error. They assist on every single kill, and they had 3 blocks. We'll be back for set number 4 with Stanford trying to close it out. Still trying to catch my breath after that third set here for the 4th. Giving me a breather, Alejandro Flores.
All right, I'll take the reins for you real quick, give you a chance to breathe. Well, the biggest recap there is just the absolute dominance from Stanford. What a job it was. They got out to a quick 7-0 lead, and they kept their foot on the gas throughout the whole entire thing, but they really stepped up in all facets of the game. The biggest one was defense. And for UCLA, How can they step up their offensive game here in set 4 and try to get back to where they were in set 2?
They were just so out of sync. All the front row players were off balance for their attacks. Some of those are by design. You like the slide plays, using your middle when they're a little bit unexpected on those slides, but they went to the well just a few too many times. Pygron Kong all of a sudden hitting under 300 today. Sheridan Leverett's been inefficient, so you have to find a way to get Urzua back in the action. Get Singletary in on the offensive action as well. Keep feeding Pygron Kong, because I think they're going to come for her more than anyone else. She just has that ability.
So far, there has only been 2 lead changes. They both happened in set 1 and set 2. Set 3 was complete dominance. No tie scores, no lead changes at all. Stanford had control from the beginning. Now UCLA, on the other hand, can they start to turn things up on the offensive end? Of course, it's going to start with Kong, but also one thing worth mentioning, a couple players did get a little bit of rest there at the tail end of that 3rd set. We didn't see a lot of Sheridan Leverett, and we didn't see a lot of Eliana Urzua as well. They got rest. Those are 2 of the top kill leaders for UCLA. So now seeing that those Bruins got some rest here and they're a little bit more freshened up, I should say, for set 4. Let's see how they come out. 2 serve, it's going to be Maggie Lee. Cardinal with their response. Going over is Ruben, and Ruben again, she gets the first point of the set to start it off of the tip.
Look at the placement on this ball from Elia Rubin. First of all, perfectly set up by Parks, and then Rubin, you can't ask for it to be placed better than that.
Logan Parks leading the team with 27 assists. Shows why there. That's a service error for the Cardinal. So already a different start than set 3, where the Cardinals start off to a quick 7-0 run. It's even at 1-1.
You know, are you a fan of The Office?
Oh, I love The Office.
Dunder Mifflin spent like 3 hours trying to watch the box get into the corner. They could watch it in 2 minutes watching Elia Rubin attack.
Here's Schumacher. Gathered, set up by Parks, and slammed down by Harvey.
And that was in the same spot. If that goes past the defensive line, watch where that's going to end up. Right in that corner again.
Great job right there. Unbelievable finish from Jordan Harvey. Harvey now with the serve. That was a missile through. And sent down. The response there by Urzua set it up perfectly for Sayer.
You could see her eyes light up. The overpass goes right to her. It's like a set, but coming from the other direction. And she's able to use all that momentum, stop it, and send it straight down.
She's like, oh, for me? Here comes Harvey with the serve again. Sent over by Kong. Kong having to move out the way, but cannot, as Lee's unable to gather that one. 4-1 Cardinal.
There's nothing that UCLA can do right now. Stanford's just in sync offensively and defensively. The block gets up at the same time, reaches the top at the same time, and gets down at the same time.
There's another serve by Harvey. That one again, absolute rocket. Over tip. Here's the set by Parks. Put down by Rubin. Off of the tip. And what a job by Stanford. 5-1. They jump off to another quick start. And a review early on here from Ref. He's going to use it quick.
UCLA is going to challenge, like you said. Hendrickson would have been called for the touch. Pygron Kong was saying, yeah, I didn't touch it. Well, she wasn't even close to the play. I think it was Hendrickson that they're going to check on. We'll see. Either way, just a terrific start.
Yes, you can see the immediate reaction, though, right? Like the little spin, like they wanted that review.
And I do think, again, we've talked about this. This acts like a timeout, right? And so with a 5-1 start to the 4th set, after Stanford is on a 4-0 run, you use this as a timeout. You can use your actual timeouts later. I get you might want to save the review for later, but with how the 3rd set ended, being able to get anything back is big.
Yes. And it is reversed. So that's big. UCLA gets a little bit of a stoppage, a timeout, a chance to breathe, regroup, and they get a point on the board.
Double whammy.
Double whammy. Make it 2-4 now the score. And UCLA is going to get the serve. And it'll go to Carly Hendrickson, who was the one who got the call in her favor. So Hendrickson with the serve. Gathered there by Rubin. Rubin now to finish it. She'll just finish what she started. Rubin was the first one to receive it and then finish it there at the end.
That was perfect. Got it right over the fingertips. Might have touched the fingertips, but only touched them so much that the velocity would carry through the back line.
Now here comes Rubin with the serve. Gets it over, and that response too strong from Rubin. Lutz unable to gather that one on the receiving end. Seen a lot of those. Another service ace for the Cardinal.
Number 11 for Stanford. Fantastic.
Compared to UCLA, who only has one so far. Bruins get their chance to respond. It goes to Kong. Kong getting it over just above the top of the defense.
I love to see that. The slide is there for her. That's the play that she wants. She goes back, she goes over to her right. Watch the slide here. She gets it. She has the angle. And because she's sliding over to the right, she has the vision of the entire floor to be able to place it perfectly in that campfire zone.
Here's Uzua with the 1-2 serve. Cardinal. Set it up way back there, having to send it over is Blashov. Just having to do a soft tap over his lever. This is a perfect setup here for the Cardinal. And they take advantage with Sayer.
A boomstick. Look at this. Yikes. What do you want to do? What can you do with that? Nothing. Sorry.
Cardinal 7-3 the lead. Coco Kirsch is the one to serve. She's had a lot of good serving streaks so far for the Cardinal. Hendrickson. Or Leverett there to finish it off.
Similarly, what can you do with that one?
That was just perfect square up there for Leverett.
Yeah, it was right between the trees. Andrew immediately took blame for it. She wanted to go a little further to her right, but it was right between her and Parks, and then she was able to get it to the floor, all velocity.
Kong. Good serve over. Chance to respond for Stanford. Just off to the right. Lizzie Andrew was the one who tried to get that one off of the assist attempt from Logan Parks.
Yeah, using Andrew there on the slide, watch. She goes to the same side of the court, and that's not something you see. They were expecting her to go cross court. She tries to hug the seam, and just not enough of a spin on it.
Kong with the serve. Received by Rubin. Set up by Parks. Sent down and returned back to Blashal. Again, too strong. Or they're going to say off of the tip there. And yes, the Cardinal get it.
Blashov's got a little quiet recently, but picking up her seventh kill, excuse me. Definitely not a bad match so far for Julia Blashow.
Parks with the serve. Cardinal leading 8-5. Gets that barely over the net. It sets up the setup from Duffy. Just getting it over. Cardinal. Blashov. Great dive. Leverett getting it over. Cardinal with a chance to respond. Blashov again. Off to the right. Up, over, and down.
That was only the second touch of that possession. Andrew had the opportunity to pass it to someone else, but off the netting, Parks sent it right to Andrew, and she had the wherewithal to know where the blockers were set, be able to spin it off that right hand or the left hand of the blocker in front of her, and send it to the floor.
Logan Parks. Man, oh, that was an absolute cruise missile to get through. UCLA somehow recovers. Parks is going to set this one up. Blashov sent back and denied. Great defensive stop there by Kate Duffy in a position you don't usually see her in.
No, but she's become so strong at the net this year. That's one of the areas that she's improved most, just in terms of her play, setting up, equalizing the block. That time, she goes up as a solo blocker and is able to send it back.
And they're going to reward Duffy here with a serve. 9-6, UCLA staying within it. Duffy with a good serve. That was gathered and sent down and finished by the Cardinal. Blashov gets that one to go.
And Blashov goes blast off. Look at her get up, go down. Ugh.
What a job by Blashov. Also a great job on the receiving end by Etzler to keep that one in play. Here comes Anna Pringle with the serve. Just a soft one over, but the response from the Bruins too strong there. A bit of a miscommunication. And a service ace.
So Pringle picks up her first service ace. Stanford is 11-2 when she has a service ace in her career. Can you guess who the two teams are that they've lost to? I'll tell you. Nebraska and Texas. The only teams in her entire career that Stanford has lost to when she picks up an ace.
Pringle far to the right. And a great pullback at the last second from the Bruins there. As they get control back here to serve. And it's going to go to Leverett. Sheridan Leverett. In a big moment here for the Bruins. Has 3 service errors so far. 9 total serve attempts. Leverett. Received by Etzler, sent over by Parks, and down it goes to Rubin. We don't mention her name a lot, but Logan Parks, what a job she's doing on the offensive end, setting up her teammates perfectly.
The passing has been incredible today for the Cardinal. 32 assists now for Parks. She's also added 6 digs and 3 kills. She's been everywhere.
What an impact from the freshman. Over from Etzler. Up. Urzua gets it down. So UCLA back and forth here. They're not letting this one slip away too far. And it looks like they want a towel here to kind of clean up a wet spot. And very important that you get a good grip here on the floor, especially working on the front end.
Absolutely good possession there for UCLA. They're still right in this 4th set. It's only a 4-point set. We've seen them go on runs. We saw it in the 2nd set when they started out cold. Just to be able to keep this one close after the way Stanford dominated set number 3 is impressive for the Bruins.
Schumacher with the serve. Gathered just a little too strong there and having to be sent over by Rubin. Deception, it looked like it was going to Kong. It goes to the backside there to Hendrickson. And Harvey's just going to have to toss it over. Here's a setup. Urzua couldn't get that one to go. It was denied.
Logan Parks might be the smartest volleyball player I've ever seen. Early in that play, a ball that goes to her near the net, and instead of trying to tip it over or win the joust with Tigran Kong, she sends it backwards. It's not tipped over by Kong because Parks was the only one that got a hand on it.
Harvey. Dangerous with the serves. It goes to Duffy, and Duffy sending it over to Urzua. Here's the response. Denied. Kong on the front end alongside with Hendrickson, and Rubin couldn't get that one to go over. And just as I mentioned, back and forth it goes between UCLA and Stanford. Stanford is unable to get a rally here going. Hendrickson, just barely over the net, skates by on the other side and sent down, out by Sayer. So UCLA now 2 in a row, and the first timeout of set 4 is called by the Cardinal.
Not really what we were expecting. Feels like this one's been dominated by Stanford, but all of a sudden you look up and it's only a 3-point 4th set. The attack errors starting to pick up a little bit now for Stanford, but they have 5 players that are close to double-digit kills today. Everyone has gotten involved in the offense.
Stanford so far doing a fantastic job. Worth mentioning, Erica Sayer stepped up to 9 kills now on 13 total attempts, a 60% hit percentage for Stanford. So worth mentioning, Julia Blashov and Erica Sayer, as well as Elia Rubin, are also stepping up in those categories. So Stanford now with a 3-score lead. Here in set 4, Stanford looking to put this entire match on ice here. What can UCLA do here out of the timeout?
That's a good question. I think that's the question that teams have been wondering against Stanford this whole year. You look at the game plan on how to beat them, and the only teams that have done so are Texas and Nebraska. Not every team is Texas and Nebraska, and so I think UCLA, I don't know. It's got to start with the defense. Defense will turn into offense naturally, but it's not that they're defending poorly. It's just that Stanford's offense is perfect at times.
Stanford's 2 losses against number 1 Nebraska and number 2 Texas at the point of playing both of those teams. Texas was the closer one, lost in the 5th set, swept by Nebraska. And both teams came into this match very hot, sweeping both opponents that they played so far in this tournament. And it feels like it's all been leading to this. Carly Hendrickson with the serve. On the receiving end, Etzler, Parks, over, and a great finish by Sayer.
She's just so smart. The ability as a freshman to say, okay, I have this missile attached to my right arm, but also, when I need to, I can finesse it. That's huge.
Elia Rubin is going to serve here. Urzua getting it over on the receiving end is Ipar Kurtz. UCLA keeping it alive, and they cannot. Strong effort there, but to no avail, and Stanford gets the point.
Sayer's already up now to 10 kills. That's her 4th time getting in double digits this year. And on her efficiencies, it's unbelievable. Now up to 11, hitting 562, adding 5 blocks today. This is a freshman.
It's unbelievable. Right now, the senior is going to be the one to serve, Elia Rubin. Bruins on the response, and it goes to Lutz. Sent over by Kong. Up high, and the first kill of the match for Ipar Kurtz. Welcome to the match, Kurt. And she picks up a kill.
Ipar Kurtz is someone who traditionally takes a little while to heat up. Last year, sitting 196 through the end of September. This year is hitting 154 at this point. She hit 345 from that point on last year. Maybe this is the point in the season where she just starts to turn it around, because look, she's someone they're expecting to be a huge player. She was someone that was projected on the All-ACC team as an ACC player to watch. Just has not been there this season. If you get her unlocked to add to Jordan Harvey, to add to Julia Blashaw, Lizzie Andrew, Elia Rubin, Erica Sayer, Logan Parks, there's more options than players on the court.
I mean, it's worth mentioning. I mean, the freshman presence that the Stanford Cardinal have had has been just absolutely insane so far in this one. When you talk about Sayer and Parks and how those 2 freshmen who started in this match have made a huge impact.
And how about Etzler? Etzler started at the line of service. She's been great as well. 4 assists, 2 aces, 7 digs for Spencer Etzler.
What a job from the Cardinal. Parks has been the only player consistently in throughout the whole entire set here for the Cardinal, and she's going to stay in here, which makes a lot of sense with the impact that she has made here in the facilitating part of the game. The serve from the senior Rubin. Serving 10. Rubin, too flat on that one. And I'm a lip reader there, but I don't think we can repeat the word that she said there.
Yeah, UCLA knows it needs a little bit of a run at this point, and that's a good start. Use the momentum of the opposition's error, because that obviously brings you up as a team, but it also brings the opposition down. So use that momentum, get something back on your side.
Urzua is going to be the one to serve, subbing in as well as Leverett. Received by Rubin, sent over by Kurt, and kept alive by the Bruins. Leverett, too strong. A side out there, and Stanford leading 17-11.
Really nice read by Kurt. They went cross-court on the swing by Leverett, and Kurt wanted it, and just at the last second read it perfectly to let it go out of play.
Coco Kirsch will be the one to serve, leading 17-11. Urzua kept it alive and just having to be sent over by Lutz on the strong side. Now Parks trying to send it over and denied by Kong. The eighth wonder of the world comes through for the Bruins.
I mean, I like the idea by Parks, but maybe a little bit of freshman over ambition going up against one of the best blockers in the nation one-on-one.
Kong now gets a chance to serve, down 5 of the Bruins. That one close to the line and a side out, a service error for Kong. And in a moment that they did not need that, just a huge swing of advantage to Stanford.
But again, Stanford is up so big in terms of the sets and this set itself that the Cardinal have the opportunity to let that one go. It's close, but they watch it, and it's only advantage them.
Urzua keeping it alive. Leverett slams down. 18-13.
I don't know about you, I want this one to go 5 sets. This has been fun, the teams are playing well, and it seems like UCLA is starting to unlock itself, especially on the offensive end.
Worth mentioning, UCLA had to take a late lead in set 2 to make their comeback and win the second set. They're being put in that position again. It starts with Kate Duffy. Too strong from Duffy, another service error for the Bruins. And that's becoming a storyline here late in set 4.
Yeah, this is the set that UCLA really struggles in this year. They're just 1-3. Their only win in a set 4 came on Friday against Texas State to clean up that 4-set win. But other than that, they have really been dominated in 4-set matches. They haven't played a 5-setter this year.
Pringle with the serve. Schumacher. Over and response here from the Cardinal. It sets up to Rubin. Bruins now with their chance. And it goes to Hendrickson. Kept alive, Cardinal. Harvey. Hendrickson. Another response set up there by Parks and denied. Great defense there by Singletary, and her presence is felt there.
She's cooled down a little off the block since getting off to a hot start, but that's her 6th of the match. She goes one-on-one with Andrew and puts it down perfectly. The left hand is the finisher, the right hand is the setup. She's able to put it down.
Maggie Lee will be the one to serve. She did not start in this match, but she has seen a lot more playing time in these last 2 sets. As Lee has the serve there. Sets it up perfectly. That's a great setup by Parks, giving the opportunity to Lizzie Andrew.
That's a one-hand, like, excuse me setup almost. And Andrew is in the perfect position. Again, I'll say it again, Parks is so smart out on the floor that she's able to recognize who's in front of her, send it back, and win the joust at the net, but also place it perfectly.
Etzler with the serve. Urzua sent down by Hendrickson, kept alive by Pringle. Pringle again, cannot. Hendrickson picks it up there.
It's a big one. We talked about keeping it within 5. UCLA's got it within 5, with Stanford needing 5. All right, now if you're UCLA, take 2 of the next 3. Take 3 of the next 4. But you can't let Stanford get to set point this early on.
Here comes Schumacher. Well, they gave up one right there. Erica Sayer.
And you give up the point, and then you also send Jordan Harvey to the line of service. This feels like closing time early for the Cardinal.
Jordan Harvey sends a cruise missile right through. Recovered by the Bruins. Hendrickson sending it over, and a great response by the Bruins, and also a good job to get Harvey off of the serve.
Yeah, big time side out. They've struggled in that category so far today, but that's a big one. Keeping it within 5. Again, now it feels like you have to take at least the next 2.
Hendrickson seeing a lot of action here in the late part of set 4. Too strong. A 3rd service error from the Bruins. Stanford 3 away from winning the match.
Yeah, that's just a mistake that you can't have. At this point in the match, you cannot give up a service error. Maybe it means being a little less aggressive on the serve receive.
Ruben. Lutz receives it. Sent up. And the call is a violation again on the Bruins. Another self-inflicted mistake. And just like that, Stanford in the driver's seat. And a timeout for UCLA, their first, or their last, my apologies, of set 4.
Can't take them with you, but it feels like that might have been the dagger for the Cardinal. Back-to-back possessions where UCLA, okay, you get a side out, and then you do a service error. You have a chance at the net, and you end up with a blocking error. Just feels like that might be a little too much for the Bruins to handle.
You can tell Stanford's feeling momentum right now. Crowd is ready after this break. It's 23-16 and Stanford in prime position to end the match. It's going to be interesting to see the lineup that UCLA comes out with. Leverett was subbed out here. Curious to see here in the last moments if they're going to try to turn to Leverett, the veteran. See if she can help the Bruins. Instead, it's going to all rely on Duffy, Urzua, Kong. And then on the back end, Maggie Lee, as well as Lutz and Schumacher. And serving for the Cardinal, Elia Rubin. Cardinal 2 away from winning the match. Their last one before conference play begins. Also in for the Cardinal, Jordan Harvey, Etzler, Logan Parks, as we've been mentioning all match long, E. Parker, and to top it off, Erica Sayer. Ruben, the great send over. Urzua gets it over. Etzler was the one who got the first gather, and Stanford on match point thanks to Erica Sayer. Team leader in kills today, picks up her 13th lucky number.
Best game of her career so far. She's had a couple, but with the stakes that this one's in, couldn't have asked for anything more.
Elia Rubin, a chance to end it. UCLA is going to get a response. Urzua, good gather there by Etzler. This sets up the finish. It's over. E. Kurt with the final kill, and the Stanford Cardinal win it in 4.
Kurt has been quiet, but I mentioned this is the point of this season that she's started to turn it around historically, finishing off a really, really good Bruins team, and Stanford heads into conference play with a ton of momentum.
A look ahead to the future. Both teams now are going to start seeing conference play for the ACC conference in the Stanford Cardinal. First game on the road at Virginia, and then they stay in the state going against Virginia Tech. And then they return home for Notre Dame and Louisville. For the UCLA Bruins, on the other hand, they start on the road as well. They go to Ohio State, then Penn State, and then back at home versus Purdue and Indiana. But to end non-conference play, a former Pac-12 rivalry, and the Stanford Cardinal get the win over UCLA. Austin, any final thoughts on this one, on how it ended?
What a fun tournament. Really, really good games throughout the entire tournament. At the end of the day, Stanford came in as the only ranked team. They'll leave with the same designation, and there's a reason for that. Just a terrific weekend for the Cardinals.
The Stanford Cardinal go red hot into conference play and go undefeated in the home tournament. We want to thank you guys for tuning in here at the Maples Pavilion. Again, my name was Alejandro Flores here with Austin Oda, and we thank you so much for joining us here on this Sunday. Deucios.